The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood Redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is Black Hollywood Live, Phenomenal Women, featuring in-depth interviews with today's most inspiring women. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood Redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, Phenomenal Women.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Black Hollywood Live's Phenomenal Woman. And I have a very special guest with me today. I have Denise Roberts, who is a breast cancer survivor who was actually inspired by her nephew to start the Denise Roberts Cancer Foundation. And she is with me today to give us amazing information that we may or may not know, to help encourage us, to help inspire us, and to learn more about breast cancer. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
So glad
you
you're
very much. As I said, you're just so cute.
Oh,
so
thank you.
You are a phenomenal woman.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I really appreciate that.
Yes.
So your nephew inspired you to start the Breast Cancer Foundation.
Yes, one of my nephews, and he is an attorney that he's reached out and did children's schools, charter schools, and in that he was watching me. I know they all watch me because I'm always doing something to make my nephews and nieces look at me, but he was really listening to me after my second bout with cancer. And I wanted to do something else. I wanted to give back, but I didn't know how. Mm-hmm. And he talked to me about some ideas. Maybe he was thinking about a children's school and maybe the parents. But then we kept talking, and it was about me. What was really happening to me, and why was I feeling this, wanting to get out of decorating and do something else and give back. Right. Because I always gave back. At holiday time, I would dress up like Santa Claus and go to Martin Luther King Hospital and see the children there and bring them gifts. Mm-hmm. So I knew it was something I wanted to do, but it became the Denise Roberts Foundation and targeting breast cancer.
Now, take us through, because it's for African American women.
It's for all women, but I really target women that look like me.
Okay. Is there just a different, more aggressive cancer? Is it a different type of cancer than other nationalities, such as with Caucasian women or Asian women?
What's happening is breast cancer is breast cancer. Mm-hmm. But in the African American communities, women of color, period, mm-hmm. we are getting cancer less than other cultures, especially white women. But we are dying from them at an enormous rate, and it's scary. And why we are dying, our mortality rate is so high because we don't have any access. We don't have access to health care. We don't have programs happening in our communities. In fact, in most communities where there are women of color, there's no clinics, there's no mammogram machines. And what was frightening to me when I started this foundation is when I do go into these communities, the women sometimes back up because they're reading our flyers and they have to go get some friends with them. And we notice all our volunteers that we bring, and all of our volunteers are usually breast cancer survivors or had someone that survived breast cancer. And we see the women reading it, and then they finally will come up to us and say, what is a mammogram? Right. So that lets me know that we are just not educated. And the ignorance of not knowing what to look for, you die when it does come.
So let's help with our viewers and explain what a mammogram is, and and there's more than one breast cancer. Yes. So let's explain to our viewers what a mammogram is.
Well, a mammogram is the machine that is now, what we do is try and take away all the myths. Okay. First of all, a lot of women think that it's a lot of x-ray and it's going to give me cancer. Well, that's not true. It is less than the radiation is so low. I'm not going to quote numbers because I'm not the doctor, but I'm getting mammograms. It is a machine that they have improved greatly because it was designed by a man and it was smashing our boobs.
Right.
And, you know, even though it was like 10 minutes, it felt like a pancake had rolled over. And you're like, oh, and the smaller you are, the worse it felt. And I was a 34A. So it was
the
like,
A Club. High five.
hello.
Right?
Girl, seeing those big sisters,
Right.
you know, they were just bubbling all around them.
Right.
But it is changed to a digital machine, and so the pressure is not as hard, and it takes less than 15 minutes. And what it's doing is it's taking a picture, an intense picture of your breast tissue, and to see if there's anything suspicious. And we should all not be afraid of that. But once we learn it, and that's what I'm doing with the foundation, is we're giving educational seminars and workshops and letting women feel breasts and see the machine and pictures, and, you know, having times where they come in and actually see.
Right.
And the other part of that is an ultrasound.
Okay.
And the ultrasound is lying on your back and merely putting some gel on, and it's a camera sitting, and they just roll it around. It takes less than 15 minutes, and that sees even more of a definition of what you might have that's suspicious. And everything that's suspicious doesn't mean it's cancer. You just want to get it done.
Right.
Because it could be a cyst, it could be your hormones. We had a lot of women coming in to get mammograms when we were at this particular clinic that were so nervous because someone said it was suspicious. Well, we just told them, change your diet for 30 days and come back and have a mammogram.
Change your diet as far as?
No fried foods.
Okay.
Don't go around the barbecue pit. Try not to have any catfish, anything.
Right.
You know, and just see what happens. And you would be shocked how many women came in, did what we said, and had a mammogram, and that suspicious spot was gone.
So it's almost sort of related to your diet as
Yes,
well.
yes, most definitely. And think about the African American community.
Right. We're
We
Southern
are
food.
barbecuing. We're inhaling all of these fumes. Where we're living, a lot of times it's a lot of towers, a lot of radiation going on. But those things are very, very low on the totem pole. What we're talking about is that we don't get any education. We don't have any access. A lot of women call us, and men, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
But a lot of women call us, and they said the reason they didn't have a mammogram, number one, they didn't know what it was, and when they found out what it was, there was no place to get it. And then when we told them the places, because we do resources for women and men to go and get mammograms where we know they will accept no insurance and get women under 40. Because that's another big thing.
Actually, yes, it is, because I went to see my doctor and I asked her if I can start getting mammograms, and I'm 2 years from 40. And she asked if there was any history, and I said no, and she said, I think that you're fine. I don't want to expose you to the radiation.
And believe it or not, she's a doctor.
And she's a doctor. Now
And she's a woman.
And she's a woman, yes. Of ethnicity at that.
Wow.
So I said, I will deal with the radiation.
And she knows it's so minor.
Yes.
And that's the first thing that we need to clear up. It is so, you get more radiation when you're probably watching TV up too close and all of these screens and things. It's really, we need to stop telling women, it's frightening enough that you might get the diagnosis of cancer, let alone letting them know, well, you have to be careful because I'm going to get cancer from all this radiation. You're not even in there long. You're behind a screen.
Right.
It's all done, you know, with our new technology.
Right.
To get and understand what's happening, because we have no cure for breast cancer, but we can change our neighborhood.
Absolutely. So let's get into the different types of cancers, because I know that we just know, okay, there's a lump, and you feel it in your breast, you go to the doctor and they tell you you have cancer, but I wasn't aware that there's several different types of cancer. Well,
I'm going to tell you that there are 8 types of breast cancer. I'm not going to go down and list them because it'll miss the point.
Right.
But I want all of your viewers to know that there are 8 types of breast cancer, and I'm going to talk about mine in situ, where I had no lump. I had nothing that indicated cancer, let alone breast cancer, because all I read about and heard about people talking about breast cancer is a lump.
Right.
So yes, I felt my breast, the little bits that I had, you know, tried to see what was going on, but nothing was happening, so I just let it go, right? But what happened to me is that I was having symptoms because the breast cancer was found in my milk ducts. So if I had kept waiting for a lump, then we'd be talking about me and saying how she was a nice lady and she had in situ breast cancer, which was in the milk ducts.
In situ is okay.
So when you call the Denise Roberts Breast Cancer Foundation, you can go onto our website and we have all the cancers listed, all of the symptoms, and all of the doctors that are top physicians that we found that are breast surgeons are right there to answer your questions.
Wow.
We have a lot of great African American breast surgeons, and one of the top doctors, I'm going to give him a shout out, is Dr. Dennis Holmes, and I am so proud. He is my doctor, but he became my doctor recently because of the foundation, and he was introduced to the foundation. But this young brother is doing some business. He is making sure about prevention. He is going after young women under 40, and he is giving radiation therapy right when it's found in the breast, out, and you get your radiation at the same time.
Really?
Yes.
Now, do you have to, right when it's found, so it doesn't matter what stage you're in? Because I know there's stages 1 through 4.
Right, but let's not worry about the stages.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, as much as getting it out.
Okay.
The stages sometimes makes you so nervous, and you feel like, oh, I'm at stage 4, so I can't do anything. I'm going to die anyway. So we want that energy to come back. We want you to find out what's happening, and then let the physician that's taking care of you explain the stages and how they're going to treat them. With this radiation therapy, when it is found and it's small, early detection, which I was, they now, instead of going in and take it out and then come back, do your radiation, do your chemo because it's spread into your lymph nodes. This physician has come up with a way that when it is found through the x-rays, through a mammogram and an MRI, ultrasound, then he can isolate it and take it out and give you the radiation at the same time.
Wow.
So there's no downtime.
Right.
You're functioning after maybe 1 or 2 days. And all of the in-depth information you can get on our website, because Dr. Holmes he's doing it in all languages.
Wow.
And he is available, he's touchable, and he's letting women of color especially know that you don't have to die from this disease.
Oh, we got to get him on the show
yes.
as well. Talk about this.
Yes.
So what are some ways that women can prevent for prevention of breast cancer? Because I know, like we said, we eat.
Right.
We eat Southern foods, we eat horribly, but what are some other ways that we can prevent?
The first thing you can do is become aware, like I did. Aware and be very proactive about your body. And it's not being paranoid, it's being real, keeping it very real.
Right.
If you go to bed at night and you are washing and cleaning and touching yourself and nothing is there, but you wake up and you're in the shower and you feel something, don't just say, oh, that must have been something I missed last night. No, check it out. See how you feel about it. That's the first part. Educating yourself, caring about this temple that you live in, and knowing that if something is happening and it doesn't make sense, do something about it.
Right, be proactive. And don't be afraid, because a lot of times fear, it it can kill you, basically, because you stop and you say, you know what, I don't want to know what it is. I don't want to face it. I don't want to deal with it. And then you start talking about losing your hair, and you just start going all down the road.
And losing the boob.
Losing the boobs. Right, right.
There is a warehouse of boobs to buy.
Right.
I'm telling you. But when you go out here and try and get the women to repeat and find themselves, it doesn't make sense. You can't. So don't worry about the boobs. You can get them.
That's reconstructive surgery.
I've had it, and it is a process that is, it's just a long process. It doesn't hurt because you're not awake.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they've gotten that process better after 20 years, because I'm living 27 years from breast cancer, and I didn't get reconstruction right after my surgery because I was too afraid. And I had small breasts, so I thought, another surgery, who cares? Nobody's looking at the boobs anyway. So as long as it's gone. But now, reconstructive surgery is being done as soon as you have your breast removed. They're starting to put in because you have to put a stretcher in. I want our viewers to know it's not like getting breast augmentation.
Okay, and explain to us what a stretcher is.
Okay,
okay, because that was like a stretcher.
Yeah, you may
right.
say, what? Go in with the stretcher.
Does that mean you go from an A to a D?
Oh, baby, look at me. Hello. Okay, Hollywood.
Right.
You thought I was going to say, keep them small. No, how big can I get?
Right.
Without falling over.
Right.
Okay. But with the process is that I had to go through the stages 20 years ago. Now it is a plate that goes in, and it's called a stretcher. So they open up under the breast, a small line cut. You're not awake, and they put in a stretcher. And there's a medical word for it, but I call it a stretcher because it's moving a little bit every day.
Oh,
it's amazing what science can do.
Right.
And it's stretching the area of your breast, the skin, so you can put in a fake boob, the implant.
So you have surgery to remove your breasts, and then
you don't remove all of the breast tissue. You're still left with breast tissue. And while you're bringing it up, let me say things as they go.
Okay.
You still need to get mammograms
with your implant. Okay.
And ultrasounds.
That's what I wanted to talk about as well.
Right.
How does that work?
Because when because you have breast tissue left, because I have breast tissue left I had a right mastectomy. And so what happens is there's still breast tissue, so you can still get breast cancer. So they need to check. And a lot of women and a lot of doctors weren't thinking about this, because after they did the mastectomies and double mastectomies, they know the women had breast tissue, but it's so small, they weren't encouraging mammograms. They were just saying, okay, be careful, don't burst them, don't,
right.
But you have to still get your ultrasound annually.
Okay.
So you can see under the armpit, there's still lymph nodes that they haven't been removed, and give yourself a mammogram. You just have breast in place of the diseased breast. And that's all we're getting mastectomies for, is because the breast is diseased, so you don't want to leave it on.
Yeah, because I'm reading about, from Samantha Harris, who just came out saying that she's having a double mastectomy. She's one of the hosts that just found out that she had breast cancer. We all know that Angelina Jolie went through it as well.
She didn't have breast cancer. She had the test BRCA 1 and 2 to see if she was carrying the gene for breast cancer.
So let's talk about the gene a little bit.
Yes.
Is that something that you just carry it, but you may or may not?
Exactly.
Okay.
And the BRCA 1 and 2 test is very old. And what that test, it usually covers women that are not of color. So I didn't have the test, but my sister had the test, and they had breast cancer, and lots of friends had the test, and guess what? They were negative, but they had breast cancer running all through their family. So what we need to do is understand, yes, get the BRCA 1 and 2 to find out, because a lot of us coming from mixed backgrounds. So there might be somebody, there's a great, great, great grandmother that is Jewish, because it really goes back to the Israelis, excuse me, and the northern, like Angelina Jolie's mom was French, and her father is, I'm not sure the actor, but
John Voight.
yeah, but he looks very white. So he's probably from somewhere cold too.
Right.
You know. Yeah, hello.
Right.
But that test has come up positive for quite a few black women. But I noticed the ones that I've seen, they've been very fair. So there's a new test that I took at USC to find out if I had a higher risk for getting breast cancer. And it is just a clinical trial. And that's another thing. We are really trying to push women of color to stop being afraid of clinical trials because of the Tuskegee Institute.
Right.
That happened, and it was done on purpose. But we have gotten way past that.
Now, for our viewers who don't know what that is, let's enlighten
You
them.
want to tell them? Because you're young. And you should know.
I'll give the floor to you because you're more educated.
No, but that was about syphilis. And they used these black men and gave them syphilis as a study, and then to see how they could cure the white folks.
Right.
And so people have taken that Tuskegee incident and just keep it in their mind, keep running it generation after generation, instead of saying, well, that really happened and it was bad. And we have to be careful now when we go into clinical trials. And that is exactly what has happened. The doctors like Dr. Dennis Holmes, Dr. Robina Smith, there's a lot of good African American doctors that are aware of that myth. And they are trying to educate women and men that in order for us to find a cure or for you to live longer, you have to get into the trial.
Right.
If we don't have anybody of color going into the trials, then all of the medicine and all of the curing is going to be with other non-blacks. So that's why this study that I went through, it came back that I am a high risk for breast cancer, which I knew, okay, because of the family. But now they're telling me what I can do for my daughter, for my grandchild, for others, to maybe get them into the trial.
Right.
Get them to exercise, get them to put more fruits and vegetables, get them to exercise. Let me keep saying that one.
Right.
If you just walk 30 minutes a day, or if you go up some stairs back and forth for 20 minutes, you're doing something every day to keep the heart up and to keep yourself healthy.
Now, I did a little bit of research, and when you speak about vegetables, because you have organic, non-organic, you have the pesticides, they have all these fillers and everything, and that puts a little bit of fear in us as well. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that we should go organic and it helps us, or does it not matter? It's one of those topics where you're like, okay, I want to go organic, but I know I financially can't afford organic.
Exactly.
But if I go here, you have all these extra pesticides and everything.
Growing them? Why not go to the farmer markets? The farmer markets in the community, grown by your local people. That's what we're encouraging.
Okay.
And my son has a Frugivore, which is healthy living online magazine, and he's encouraging this eating. And our president, the first lady, Michelle, is going to the farmers markets, going to the farms, getting the children and ourselves from the garden to the table. And they're trying it. I'm talking about what I do.
Right.
I know that I have listened to quite a few people, including my son, talking about go organic. But realistically, when you go organic, you better have an organic pocketbook.
Yes.
With you. Because you look at that banana that's laying there, and it's 69 cents a pound. And then you go over right around the corner, and there's some organic bananas for $1.69. what you gonna do?
Right, right.
And what it does to women that we're talking to, they don't want to do it at all because they don't believe us. They're coming from, I didn't come all the way to your clinic or to this health fair, and I just learned about a mammogram. I had to take 2 buses, and now I'm recognizing that maybe I should put more fruits and vegetables on my kids' tables and in my body. And then you tell me, but you should do organic, honey.
Right.
Because it's got bugs on it.
Right.
If you can get that woman to eat that banana that she washed off, you know, and came from the farmer's market or her local store, and it wasn't sitting there rotten and turning brown. And, you know, bananas, when I said that, I realized the more ripe they are, the better they are for you.
Oh, really?
I learned that in just dealing with my son on the Frugivore.
Now, where can they find your son's magazine?
Online,
What's
Frugivore.
Can you spell that?
FRUGIVORE .mag.
Okay. Just for our viewers, so they
lot of information.
Lot of information, and there's also some fruits that can help prevent.
Oh yes.
As well.
Yes.
Cancers.
And you could go to Denise Roberts Breast Cancer Foundation.org, and we list those vegetables also. We list a lot of things because we get it from my son's magazine that links on, and Dr. Holmes and Dr. Robina Smith. All of these doctors, they're constantly finding things to put onto the website, and you hit their names and they just give you some very easy steps too. And they're the surgeons. This is why I really love what I'm doing, is because we don't want to scare people. Because I know I was scared 27 years ago when they said, oh, you have breast cancer. And I'm trying to figure out, well, what the hell did I do? You know, I didn't smoke, I didn't drink a lot, you know, or anything. I had 2 kids, I breastfed, you know, and I got breast cancer. And then now that I'm, you know, years later doing this foundation, you'd be surprised at all of the vegetarians that are dying of breast cancer. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We had a young lady a couple of years ago. I felt really bad because I was getting ready to use her as an example. She was a skier, 23 years old, and she started saying, you know, I'm feeling this lump. But she was a vegetarian, a skier, so she's athletic, and she was white, and she had breast cancer, and it had already spread to the lymph nodes. So she passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stories like that.
Yes.
So what you go back to, and I hope I'm saying it enough, is educate and be proactive about your body. Just go in and take care of you. That's what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm eating differently. I juice. I make smoothies. You can throw in kale, spinach, apples, whatever you like, because all of these juicers come with recipes. And then you go on to frugivoremag.com and you get a lot of recipes from my son. And he's doing kale. I never would have thought I would do a kale salad and have all my friends.
I love kale.
Oh, they lined up to have
love
a kale
kale.
salad. It is so good.
And also, too, it's very important for the viewers to understand, even if you do not have cancer in your family's history, please go and get checked as well, because I don't. And not that I know of, I should say.
Right.
And when my doctor said, you know, you're not 40 and cancer does not run in your family, there's no need for you to have a mammogram. But something told me, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway.
Good for you.
And I'm going to go to the Denise Roberts Foundation and go and get my first mammogram.
Yes. Call us and we can turn you on to the correct resource to get
absolutely.
your mammogram.
And something that really sparked my attention was that men get breast cancer as well, and I did not know that.
See?
So it fill us in
Did you know the actor Richard Roundtree?
Yes.
He had a double mastectomy.
I did not know that.
Yes, he had breast cancer.
Really?
And we've worked with him. He comes out and talks about it, but not as forceful as I think he should.
Right.
And I hope he's listening. Not as forceful.
Hopefully he's not mad that you that you said anything.
No. He's
okay.
proactive about
Okay.
it. But I'm saying he's doing more would make the men comfortable. Yeah, you can get breast cancer, but let's check our prostate. You
Okay.
see? And that's important.
Mm-hmm.
And I applaud the men. They don't want to talk about it, but they're getting out there because you don't see any prostate walks. But
Right.
you see a whole lot of breast cancer, ovarian. Oh, we walking ourselves to death trying to get everybody to.
Right.
Those men ain't walking about nothing.
Because
They're
men
going
don't
in check.
know. There's no commercials.
No.
There's nothing in the magazines.
There's us.
There's us, but
we are
don't,
telling them, Denise
yes,
Roberts Foundation.
Yes.
And they are backing up and making U-turns when we are out there at health fairs, and we have it in our brochure. Men, they don't get it as often, but they get it. And unfortunately, a lot of them die from it because they thought it was a bruise, a rash, and they let it go, or they didn't want to talk about it because it didn't sound macho.
Right.
To have breast cancer, that's a female disease. Well, your pecs that you're calling your pecs, that's boobs.
And that's like a breast tissue.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's men that have bigger breasts than you, and you know, and so they need a mammogram. But most men get an ultrasound. And if they do have the diagnosis of breast cancer, it has gotten much faster because they don't have so much tissue to go through.
Now, are their symptoms different than women?
No, they're not. Yes, yes,
okay.
and no. What I'm saying is we have larger breasts, so we have we're going to pay more attention to the milk ducts around. But men, if they see a redness or rash or any kind of swelling that doesn't go away, they should get checked. Just get an ultrasound because it could be breast cancer at its earliest stage. At its earliest stage. And we have had, we had a guy, football player, I won't say his name, but he thought it was a bump from playing football. And he passed on it because after he found out it was breast cancer, then he spoke to me about it and said, I was amazed. I saw this a long time ago.
Wow.
And then it went away. Yes, it went away because it spread somewhere else.
Wow.
And when it was too late, he passed away. Yes.
That is, now are there several different types for men, or is it just like for women?
It's the same.
It's the same.
It's the same. I don't think they get as often triple negative in some of the other breast cancers that are more prevalent in women. But it is just about men doing the same thing. Be proactive. Get checked. When you go in for that prostate exam, tell them to check you for that spot that you saw, or that rash, or something leaking from your nipple.
Right.
Because they have the same body parts as we have. It's just not as pronounced.
Right.
But what about those men that are overweight and they have bigger breasts? They're not looking at their breasts. They're trying to lose the weight, or I'm doing this, but they should be looking at their breasts, and they should have their doctors examine them because they can check it with an ultrasound quickly.
Well, I am truly shocked because I did not know that.
Yes, and we are shocked all the time because men see us at different companies and they'll walk by and get a little brochure, say, I'm going to tell my girlfriend, my wife, or my partner. And I said, why don't you look at that, open that up and see about yourself.
Right.
And these are educated, and they said, breast cancer. Well, I didn't think men could get breast cancer. I said, what's that on your chest?
Because they're not seeing it as breasts. Yes.
Right.
They're just seeing it as just a chest, but they're not
Exactly.
acknowledging and I don't even think that we're even taught that in our community at all, because we
were
just
barely taught for ourselves.
Exactly.
We didn't sit at the table and talk about breast cancer and checking your boobs. Don't be nasty.
Right.
Talking about. But, and that's another thing when it comes to men. Your men in your life, get them, let's do it together. You check my boobs, I'll check yours.
Right.
Did you see anything different when you saw me nude? Look, and did you see anything on him? Feel it and be comfortable talking about it. And that's where we have to change in our community. We're just not comfortable. You know, we go to many places, and the minute I start talking, it's not as bad now, but I used to go in the beginning of this foundation to clinics and talk about when's the last time that you checked your breast. Oh, and everybody get all quiet. Like I said, when's the last time you put on protection, you know, or something like that.
Right.
It's really taboo to talk about your breast. And we need to change that because other cultures talk about it. They hurry up and go get a mammogram, and that's why they're living. They change their way of living. They go get the test as Angelina Jolie. They go and find out what's happening. Yes, I get a lot of people say, well, they have the money and the resources. Exactly. But we have the same places to bring those resources to our community.
Right.
But we're not supporting Denise Roberts Breast Cancer Foundation. We are just watching Denise Roberts Breast Cancer Foundation say, I'm in your community, join me. Let's demand that we get a clinic, demand that we have some advertisement with our faces on it. If we don't, the sister that's 20, 19, and unfortunately so many 30s in their 30s are dying of breast cancer. And they are not uneducated. They are educated women. We have one of our programs named after Angela Pittman. She was a Hollywood exec, music producer, and she heard me on the radio on KGLH talking about my experience, and then contacted me and said that she hadn't had a mammogram, but she had felt something. And I encouraged her. Well, she got her mammogram and she did have breast cancer. But unfortunately, it was a breast cancer that moved very aggressively through her body. And she passed at 33.
Wow.
And she has been an inspiration for me to go to younger women, to the colleges, to high school, and talk about getting checked. Don't stop when the doctor or the minister or somebody tells you, hold up on that. God is going to save you. You were just going to pray on it.
Right. That bothers me.
Oh.
Yes, because you have to be, it's almost like you have to be an ambassador for your own life, your own health, and just do it.
That's right.
You got to just go out there and do it.
And you know what? It's all doable. I mean, we see everything else that we do as women. Why can't we be ambassadors? It's a great sense, honey.
Yeah.
For our own self. What we say is proactive.
Right.
Be proactive. Just like you, stop worrying. I think about this one too. I'm going back. I'm not going to get a mammogram because it hurts so bad. I heard it does. See, we hear. But I looked down at this one sister that was saying that, and I know her shoes hurt worse and longer than that mammogram.
Right.
And we will wear that heel and go on and swollen and soak the feet when we get home just to put on that heel. And you mean you won't take 15 minutes to go get checked to make sure that suspicious spot was not something that you could get out of your body?
Yeah, we have to change our thinking. Absolutely.
It's so simple. It seems complicated about breast cancer, but it's not.
Right.
I'm living too long to realize that's why I'm laid back and talking to you like this, is that it is up to me to take care of Denise first, and then take care of the rest of the people and let them see how comfortable you can be with educating yourself about your body. I'm not saying that I've never been afraid. I'm still afraid.
Right.
But I put that fear as low as I can inside me, as low, and I crowd it with good things like fruits and vegetables and lots of water and walking and playing. And if I get a pain, I used to say, oh, did it come back? Is there something?
Oh.
Now it's like, what is it?
Yeah.
What is that pain?
Because
Let
then
me
you can
find out what it is.
Right. Because then you can deal with it.
Exactly.
And if you get it early, then you have.
That's on anything.
Right.
you have a better chance of getting
surviving.
a TV if you get to the sale early.
Exactly.
Right? Getting that shoe.
Go on and preach, Denise. Go on and preach.
So what's the sense in living?
Right.
You have a better chance if you go and get it now.
I please, just for our viewers, please be an advocate, you know, for your health, be an ambassador for your health. And I am so thankful that you are with us today to educate us on breast cancer.
I am too.
And congratulations.
Thank you. It is such an honor to meet women like you of color that are doing something, but you're also going to take care of yourself so you can still be fly on this show.
Absolutely. Yeah. I will be there.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching Phenomenal Women. And we have Denise Roberts here at the Denise Roberts Foundation, and you can find her on Twitter at TDRBCF, which is actually the Denise Roberts Foundation, or you can go on Diva of All Red. Thank you guys so much. My name is Ashita Anre as your host. You can find me on Twitter, Ashita Anre, and you can also find me on Instagram as well. I look forward to seeing you next week.
Producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in. The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.